This is lesson 81 for white group. I'm going to tell you about an object you know, but I'm going to call it a funny name. See if you can figure out what object I'm thinking of. Mirrors on. You find a cringe on a farm. Say that. Get ready. Listen. A cringe is a vehicle. Say that. Get ready. Listen. You use a cringe to plow fields. Say that. Get ready. We're going to do it one more time. Listen. Mirrors on. You find a cringe on a farm. Say that. Get ready. A cringe is a vehicle. Say that. Get ready. Listen. You use a cringe to plow fields. Say that. Get ready. Now say all the things you know about a cringe. Get ready. One more time. Say all 3 things you know about a cringe. Get ready. You find a cringe on a farm. A cringe is a vehicle. You use a cringe to plow fields. Everybody, what kind of object am I calling a cringe? A tractor. How do you know a tractor? And how do you know a cringe is a tractor? Would you like to ride a cringe to school? So we're going to make up 2 analogies. We're going to make up analogies about about a bed and milk. Listen, we're going to make up 2 analogies. We're going to make up analogies about a bed and milk. What objects? The first analogy tells you what you do with the objects. Listen, the first analogy tells you what you do with the objects. What do you do with a bed? Sleep on it. Yeah, we sleep in a bed. So what do you do with milk? Get ready. Yes, we drink it. So listen, a bed is to sleeping as milk is to drinking. Listen again. A bed is to sleeping as milk is to. Now say the whole analogy about a bed and milk. Get ready. A bed is to sleeping as milk is to drinking. Listen, a bed is to sleeping as milk is to drinking. Does that analogy tell you what you do with the objects? Get ready. Yes. Listen, a bed is to sleeping as milk is to drinking. Does that analogy tell you what parts the objects have? Get ready. No. Listen, a bed is to sleeping as milk is to drinking. Does that analogy tell where you find the objects? Does this analogy tell you where you find the objects? Get ready. No. Listen, we made up an analogy that tells you what you do with the objects. The next analogy will tell what class the objects are in. Listen, what class is a bed in? Yes, a bed is in the class of furniture. So what class is milk in? Food. Yes, the milk is in the class of food. So listen, a bed is to furniture as milk is to food. We're going to say that one more time. A bed is to furniture as milk is to food. Say the analogy about milk and about a bread. Excuse me, Miss Thomas. Getting tongue-tied. Say the analogy about a bed and milk. Get ready. One more time. Say the analogy about a bed and milk. Get ready. A bed is to furniture as milk is to food. So we made up an analogy that tells what you do with the objects. Then we made an analogy that tells what class the objects are in. Let's see if you can say both of those analogies. Listen. Put your thinking brains on. Say the analogy that tells what you do with the objects. Get ready. A bed is to sleeping as milk is to drinking. Listen. Say the analogy that tells what class the objects are in. Get ready. A bed is to furniture as milk is to food. Absurdity. Absurdity. So when something is absurd, it is what? Very silly. It is what? Very silly. Figure out what's wrong with the story. Listen. There was a woman. She wanted to wash dishes, so she got out the broom. Tell me what's wrong with that story. Well, listen. Here's another story. Figure out what's wrong with this one. There was a man. He went for a walk in the rain. He wore a bathing suit so he wouldn't get wet. Tell me what's wrong with that story. Some of these things sound so silly, so absurd. Let's figure out what should have been said. What should a woman have used to wash the dishes?